Hi, I'm Antonio Centeno. I'm the founder of Real Men, Real Style. Today, gentlemen, we're going to talk about scent. We're going to talk about fragrances, which can have an effect on your job performance. Specifically, these scents have been shown to actually affect anxiety, fatigue, temporal demand, basically how long do we think time passes, frustration, and alertness. And this is based off a 2009 study that appeared, I believe it was in the North American Journal of Psychology. So before I get into this, guys, why getting into fragrances so much? You're going to see I'm going to release a lot of information on fragrances over the next few months. I actually have a series of fragrances. They're going to be coming out. Yes, a physical product, but I'm taking a different approach. A lot of the fragrances you guys see out there, they're just buy this because it'll make you sexy. Buy this because I say so. Or buy this because it's got our brand name on it. And honestly, a lot of us are left wondering why. In fact, 80% of men do not wear fragrance on a regular basis. So I'm thinking, why don't we? Because there's a lot, and this is funny because I'm out there doing all this research, and fragrance, the effect of smell. I mean, I was just reading a study, I'm going to be doing a video on how women, it is the number one influencer whenever they're looking for basically a mate. And yet as men, we don't pay attention to it because guess what? For number one for us is visual. But to raise that awareness in men, to help them understand how important fragrance is, then to help them find the right fragrance for their body that naturally is going to enhance their normal smell. Yes, and that's a good thing, unless you've got really bad BO. But we'll get into that in other studies. But guys, look for this product coming out. If you want to hear more about it, I'm going to have a link down below. It's going to take you to a forum where you can say, Antonio, please tell me more about this, and I'll put you on the early bird list for when we have this coming out. But we're going to be putting out a physical product, a series of fragrances, which are going to be scientifically backed. I mean, I'm using all this research. Literally, instead of building the fragrance and trying to find the science for it, we actually found the science, and we're building the fragrances out so that you can use these to basically, it's a hidden weapon that you can secretly use to up your game. And in this case, increase your alertness, increase your job performance. So let me go ahead and get into the study. So the study was done in 2009. You guys know how I love recent studies. And what they did is he took three groups. They introduced one group to cinnamon, a smell, another one peppermint smell, and then it was a control group that they were just breathing because they had these like nasal things right underneath their noses that they were introducing a little bit of oxygen mixed with the fragrance. And one of them was a control, so there was no fragrance at all. It was very slight, and what they were breathing, it wasn't an enhanced oxygen. It was very normal, what you would expect. Now, why does this matter from a business perspective, or why does this matter from personal? Who cares if fragrance actually increases my alertness or increases my mood? Well, if you think about it, and these guys did a great job in the study. They actually talked about the automobile industry and the trucking industry and the transportation industry. $150 billion a year is lost because of auto accidents, car accidents, all of this stuff, from manpower to actually damage of the vehicles. So they're like, if we can have a small dent in reducing this by increasing people's alertness when they're behind the wheel, think of the lives that we can save, think of the money that we can save. And I thought this, these guys made a really great point. So they went in there and they wanted to measure anxiety, they wanted to measure fatigue, they wanted to measure temporal demand. And temporal demand is basically how fast does time pass. Anyone that has kids know that when you're traveling, everyone keeps asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Put in a load. Let me just tell you, you can use certain fragrances to keep those kids from asking. I actually, they didn't test it on kids, but you could test it on your own kids, I guess. But frustration and alertness. So those were the 5 things that they focused in on, and I'm going to reveal with you guys exactly what they found. Because like I said, they broke them into 3 groups. They had a large number, it was statistically sound. They were able to go in there. They had the cinnamon test, peppermint test, and the control. This is what they found. So when it came to anxiety, actually the peppermint smell reduced anxiety. And again, they used, this is a statistical amount, so it wasn't a fluke, and it was very clear that peppermint actually reduced anxiety. Fatigue, peppermint, again, reduced fatigue. Now, both of these, the cinnamon and the control, there was no effect. Temporal demand. Okay, so both fragrances actually made time go by faster. So if you actually have a fragrance in your car, if it smells good, actually they didn't do a test on whether it smells bad, but again, we're focused on fragrances that are known to be a little bit exciting. Before this study, they actually knew that cinnamon and peppermint had been identified as possible influencers of alertness, motivation, task performance, yada, yada, yada. So you can't just use any smell here. But so far what we found out, anxiety, fatigue affected by peppermint, temporal demand affected by peppermint and cinnamon, and then the last two, frustration and alertness. Frustration was reduced, alertness was increased by both of them, both of the smells. Again, they had the control, they didn't notice any. In fact, the control, your frustration went up or it was higher and the alertness was lower than if you had either of these fragrances introduced. So what do we take from this? We can understand that there are fragrances that can make people more alert, they can make people less frustrated, less fatigued. Why does this matter? Well, think if you're owner of a company or if you're in charge of HR of a large company, and casinos know this. Anytime you've been in Vegas, do you notice how it smells a certain way in the casinos? Not just always, used to smell like cigarette smoke, but now they've improved it. Actually, the air smells really fresh. Actually, it smells nicer in the casino than it does outside. That's because they want to reduce the stress. They want to keep you, going there. They want you to be there all night. That's why when you walk into a casino at 9 o'clock at night, you can sometimes leave. It's 9 o'clock in the morning and you don't know where the time went. Believe me, fragrance is playing a role in this. These guys are leading the pack. And if you own a company, especially a large business, think about that. If it smells better in your company, or if you've got something in there that, it just doesn't have a fresh smell to it, this could be having an effect on your company's performance. So little things like this are interesting. And like I said, I've got an entire line of fragrances going to be coming out. I'm going to focus on 5. And my goal is to help you choose the right fragrance for, and every man can choose his own fragrance. That's one of the big mistakes is a lot of men let women choose their fragrance, or they accept it as a gift, maybe from their brother. But the point is you need to choose it for yourself. Then you need to condition yourself to actually wearing it. And I'm going to be focusing on this with my new fragrance line coming out, guys. And again, if you want information on that, I'm going to link to it down below in the comment section, in the notes, and in the article, which will support this. Take care. See you in the next video.